El exec, el exec, el exec. El vele, el vele. El fenómeno que todos quieren ser. El chamaquito que no pueden entender.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to episode 156 of the Exec Talk Podcast. I'm your host of Ales Wasan. Actually, that one. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I know I'm recording this on a Friday. I just wanted to let you guys let you guys enjoy yourselves with your family and everything, not having to watch an episode on Thanksgiving morning or anything like that. I also wanted to enjoy it with my family, enjoyed it. I hope everybody ate some turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, pecan pie, pumpkin pie, whatever type of pie you guys like, depending on the cultures that you're from. But I hope that you guys enjoyed it. You guys understand the importance of the holiday, being grateful for what you have and the people that are around you that love you. And we got some great football yesterday. In quotations, great football. And we have the champs playing today. We have a couple college football games that are meaningful, including Boise State is beating Oregon State right now, and Colorado was up 21-0 on Oklahoma State. Colorado needs some stuff to happen tomorrow with Iowa State, BYU, or Arizona State losing in order to help and win out to then get to the championship, because they lost that opportunity last losing to Arizona State. So, other than that, we talk about Blake Snell going to the Dodgers, signing a 5-year deal. Now get that rotation, and somebody make MLB Network or MLB.com a mock-ation of what it looked like, and Yoshinobu #1, and that was interesting because they have to show everyone player, and they show and then came Blake Snell, and then came last month, and came Gosselin. There's a possibility that they still go get Sasaki. It's not completely out of question. Do I believe they will now that they have Blake Snell and they just dished out some money? I mean, they always have money to go group, but maybe not. Maybe they'll go to the Giants. Maybe they'll go to the Yankees. The other teams snooping around the Padres, we might go there. So we shall see. I should try to still sign them. It would be disgusting type rotation. Five basically worthy starters would be incredible as a lineup that they have. But with Blake Snell, I think that really anybody else goes down, and they're gonna have everybody back. Bobby is gonna come back. Gavin Stone, Tony Gonsolin, Trevor May, Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler might walk in out the door. He might get traded. He's actually free agent. We'll see what happens with Walker. Maybe he'll go to the Yankees. But I think it's a big move for the Dodgers. Come out World Championship to just bolster that rotation with a 2-time Cy Young winner. To a rotation that has another Cy Young winner in it, another 3 Cy Young winners in it. If in any given year, Glasnow wins Cy Young, Yoshinobu Yamamoto wins Cy Young, Shohei wins Cy Young. So Blake Snell, Shohei, Yamamoto, and Blake Snell and Glasnow. That's insane to me. That's incredible. Okay, so it's gonna be in and out. Quick day. We're gonna talk about Formula One. They're in Qatar. I believe they're having a sprint shootout right now, so I'll catch that later. And I'll talk about and we'll talk about it next episode. But they're in Qatar. Races at 11 a.m. on Sunday. I believe McLaren's gonna try to make a push to get as much momentum going into next year as possible. Especially after the disappointment of Brazil not being able to finish ahead of Verstappen in Las Vegas, basically losing the championship. So these last 3 races, I think they're definitely gonna try to build for next year. Come in, maybe win these last 3 races. Maybe score really high points in the last races. Buckle down the Manufacturers Championship, which is in flux with Ferrari, and try to really set up for next year to be a battle with Red Bull, with possibly Ferrari and Mercedes for that championship. It's going to be the most open season. I mean, this year was extremely open. We had, I believe, 7 drivers that won multiple races. That's the first time ever that's happened. With Lando, George, I believe Lewis, Max, Leclerc, Sainz. Yeah, so that's pretty amazing. And still Max closed out the championship, not even getting to the last race, with 3 races to go. So I think McLaren's gonna really make a push at Qatar and at Abu Dhabi to really finish the year strong. Now, with what happened with Mercedes last week, depending on how Qatar is in setup, I don't foresee Mercedes being that quick again. Just because Las Vegas is a very unique layout, very speedy, not a lot of slow corners that drag down, and you have to have high downforce, a very slick track. So a lot of different variables was there for them to be successful. But I think Red Bull's going to come with a nice package. Qatar, I believe Ferrari's going to make a push for the manufacturer championship these last races, and I think McLaren wants to like really bolt that down, but it's really in flux right now. Lando and Oscar to try to distinguish themselves in qualifying, but then again, race pace is all about who manages tires the best, who has the best balance, who has the best set of tires. So basically, like who can get tires to temperature, the bricks temperature to maximize grip, and who is aggressive enough without crossing that line of stupidity when you're driving, which Max and Lewis are very, very well at doing. Lando's learning his way, and so is George. If you hear anything in the background, I'm just washing clothes. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a good race in Qatar. It's a good racetrack. So I'm very, very excited to see it on Sunday. All right, let's get to NCAA real quick. Go through everything that can run. Oregon State is losing to Boise State right now, 14-0. Ashton Genty has a touchdown. Colorado is beating Oklahoma State 21-0. Travis Hunter has an interception and a touchdown already in the first quarter. It's the start of the second quarter. It's a 4th and 1. Colorado at the 50. I'm guessing they're going for it most likely. Then we have Ole Miss, Mississippi State. That's an SEC matchup. Ole Miss can't get to they can't get to the championship. Then at 7, you have Georgia Tech. Georgia needs to win that to keep their 91% college playoff bound prediction alive. And then tomorrow you have the game Michigan versus Ohio State, which is 19.5 point spread for Ohio State. I think that might be a disgusting blowout. And we just got breaking news. After I said it about 2 weeks ago, he's finally fired. Matt Eberflus has been his duties as head coach of the Chicago Bears. Thomas Brown has just been elevated to interim head coach. Especially after they're going to get into what happened in the game at the end, and that's basically what probably caused the firing. They had a chance to win that game, and stupid clock management and no discipline at the end. Just the Chicago Bears just find another way to erroneously lose. They have Tennessee. That should be a blowout. 11 points right for Tennessee. South Carolina, Clemson. Clemson can, I believe, still get to the ACC championship game if they win at South Carolina tomorrow. And now Illinois Northwestern. You got Penn State, Maryland. Penn State is 98% in to the playoffs right now. Notre Dame, USC. Notre Dame is like 95% in. Miami, Syracuse. Miami's like 90% in to the playoffs as it stands right now. They just have to win out. California, SMU can get in through the Big 12 championship. The ACC championship, because they're facing Louisville and stuff like Florida State. Yeah, the ACC championship against Miami. I believe it's going to be SMU-UM as of right now. Then you have Alabama, Auburn. Bama can't make it in no more. Arizona State has to win against Arizona if they want to keep Colorado out. Missouri versus Arkansas. You got Indiana versus Purdue. Indiana can still make it to the college football playoff. They're like at a 97%. They just have to win out. Oregon is undefeated. They're going against Washington in Eugene. I expect that to be a blowout. Texas A&M, Texas. That's basically the pinch point. Texas A&M can ruin Texas's SEC. They'll still go to the SEC championship game, but I think their seeding would be different if they lose and Georgia wins. Although Texas has had a better showing against their schedule. Texas A&M has nothing to play for, but at the same time would like to mess up Texas's 10-1 record. Kansas State, Iowa State. Iowa State has to win this. If they lose and Arizona or BYU lose, Colorado then has the inside track for the Big 12 championship. All they have to do is win out. UNLV, Nevada, and then you have Houston versus BYU. Again, BYU has to win in order to keep Colorado at bay if Iowa State loses and Arizona State wins. So if one happens and not the other, Colorado's kind of left up in the air for the Big 12 championship. Okay, so that's NCAA. Let's get to the NFL. Bears Lions. I expected this to be not as close. Lions win 23-20. So let me go through the stats first. and then we'll talk about the actual game. Caleb went 20 of 39, 256, 3 touchdowns, no picks, all in the second half. All the touchdowns were in the second half. In the first half, they couldn't do nothing. This was 17-0, I believe, in the first half. Let me tell you guys right now. This was, at halftime, this was 16-0. Then they both scored 7 in the third. So it was still kind of a blowout. And then in the fourth, Bears explode for 13 points while the Lions get none and make it a 20-23 game. We're going to get to the end how they should have technically won, if not at least tied to go to overtime. But, again, that's why Matt Eberflus is fired this morning. So he got 3 touchdowns, five sacks for 33 yards, 66.1 QBR, a 97.8 rating. Caleb Williams ran the ball 4 times for 39 yards. DeAndre Swift ran the ball 11 times for 39 yards. They ran the ball 15 times for 78 yards, 5.2 yards a carry. But when you're throwing it 39 times to 15 runs, not much balance. So the defense knows what they're doing. DJ Moore went 8 for 97 and a touchdown on 16 targets. So he really went after DJ Moore. Keenan Allen had a good day, 5 for 73 and 2 touchdowns on 8 targets. DeAndre Swift went 2 for 35 on 3. Cole Kmet went 3 for 26 on 3. And Rome went 2 for 25 on 6 targets. Javon Dexter, Sr., recovered a fumble. They had 2 sacks, half a sack by Austin Booker, another half by Jack Sanborn, and 1 by Javon Dexter Jr. No picks. And then you go to Detroit and you're expecting, they blew it up. No, it's 21 of 34, 221, 2 touchdowns for Jared Goff, 1 sack for 9 yards, 61.7 QBR, a 100.2 rating. David Montgomery went 21 for 88. Jameer went 9 for 87. They ran the ball 33 times for 194 yards, averaging 5.9 yards a carry. Threw the ball 33 times, so threw the ball 34 times to 33 runs. Beautiful balance there by Ben Johnson. Amon-Ra went 5 for 73 on 7 targets. Tim Patrick went 2 for 48 on 3 targets. David Montgomery 3 for 36 on 3 targets. J-Mo went 5 for 28 on 7 targets. Jahmyr Gibbs went 2 for 17 on 4 targets. And Sam Laporta went 3 for 6, but 2 touchdowns on 6 targets. So they're using them, I guess, in the red zone, not anywhere else. Jameer lost a fumble. Maurice Alexander fumbled, but they didn't lose it. I guess he recovered it. And then their defense got 5 sacks, but they got injured. Malcolm Rodriguez, add him to the IR list. He's done with an ACL tear, so he's done for the year. You got half a sack by Ezekiel Turner, a sack by Al-Qadim Muhammad. Zadarius Smith got a sack and a half, and 2 sacks by DJ Reader, the D tackle. No picks, almost a pick by Kirby Joseph, would have been his 8th to lead the league, but he's still stuck at 7. And like I said, this game basically came down to the Bears driving down in the 4th with, I want to say, somewhere in the realm of like 2 minutes, so around there, probably like a little bit more, closer to 3 when they got the ball. They got it at the 1. And they were driving, made it all the way to the red zone around like the 13-yard line, somewhere around the 14, 15-yard line. And that was off a penalty. That was a pass interference penalty on DJ Moore. On a 4th down, Caleb was doing some nice passes. They were doing something. They were always just hitting the crossing route, rubbing with Cole Kmet. But then Cole Kmet, the 3rd time they tried it, he ran into Terrion Arnold. Offensive pass interference. That pushes you back 10 yards. They get a hold. After that, puts them back another 10 yards. And then on 3rd down, they get sacked. Or on 2nd down, they get sacked. There's like 35 seconds left. They have a timeout. They don't take it. And then at like 4 seconds is when Caleb finally snaps the ball. Nothing happens. And game over, and that's how Matt Eberflus gets fired. I think it should have happened at the beginning of the season. I think that you should have given Caleb Williams a better coach, a better chance, maybe Ben Johnson, maybe somebody like, maybe even Cliff Kingsbury, maybe Bill Belichick. But, Lions go to 11-1. Teams that are good find a way to win. They're still number one in the NFC. Bears are 4-8. Their season's over. It's time to start rebuilding. I would start. Eberflus is gone. You need an offensive-minded coach, so nobody plucks him. Kind of, like an Andy Reid, like a McVay, a KOC, a McDaniel. You need a offensive-minded coach that is all about Caleb. And then I suggest you start finding out ways to get Rome Odunze involved. You have not done it all year. This guy was picked number 9th overall. He's a hell of a target, and you haven't found a way to get him the ball. Your most targeted guy is DJ Moore and Cole Kmet, not even Keenan Allen, even though he's been hurt. DeAndre Swift should get more burn out of the backfield in past situations because he's dynamic. Just need a whole reboot on the offensive side of the ball. Completely throw away your offensive line, get a new one, pay some people for the offensive line, especially your interior. God, you guys are awful. You got interior. You got DJ Reader and Aleem McNeil just destroying you with no Aiden Hutchinson and a hobbled Zadarius Smith. So Bears suck. Lions are rolling. Although close, the defense is sustaining a lot of heavy casualties. Now with no Malcolm Rodriguez, you got no Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, I have the whole list of people that are on IR for the Lions. It is extensive. Okay, we have Aiden Hutchinson, Alex Anzalone, which is their leading linebacker, John Kaminsky, another linebacker, Ennis Rakenstraw, the rookie cornerback, and Rakenstraw Jr., Derek Barnes, another linebacker, Marcus Davenport, their D lineman, Iefatu Melifongwu, their safety, Kyle Pico, their D lineman, Jalen Reeves-Maben, their linebacker, and now Malcolm Rodriguez out for the ACL. So if they're gonna do it and get to the NFC Championship game again, or not again, to get to the NFC Championship or even the Super Bowl, they're gonna have to really, really buckle down on defense with all those injuries. So yeah, good win for the Lions. Horrible loss for the Bears. Another, I think, 4 straight 1-score type of games for them. Having the ball at the end, and you've missed a kick before. You got a kick blocked. Now you have bad clock management. I mean, you find a way to lose because you're bad. Essentially, bad coaching and just undisciplined. Stupid penalties when you shouldn't do them. Something's working, and you don't go back to it, and unfortunately that's what happens. All right, Cowboys, Giants. By the way, I picked all these 3 games before the games happened. I think I said it in my last pod. I said Lions, Cowboys, and Packers. I just wasn't able to break them down, and I forgot that they were on Thursday actually, so that was my bad. So I'm kind of retroactively telling you guys, but I had I had the winners of how they landed yesterday. The Cowboys won 27-20. It wasn't actually that close. Giants were up 7-3 early, and then the Giants scored 10. At halftime, it was 10-13, so it was still close. And then Cowboys just rattled off 14 points straight in the third. Kind of put it out of reach at 27-10. And then in the fourth, Drew Lock tried a little something and got him within 7, but it really wasn't that close. Drew Lock went 21 for 32, 178, no touchdowns and a pick, 6 for 47 in sacks, 42 QBR, a rating of 66.9. They ran the ball 21 times. Tyrone Tracy went 9 for 32 and a touchdown. Drew Lock went 4 for 57 and a touchdown. Devin Singletary went 7 for 23. 21 carries, 116 yards, 5.5 yards a carry, and threw the ball 32 times. So 21-32, that's 11 difference. That's not good. Malik went for 8 for 69 on 13 targets, so it was all very short yardage stuff. Theo Johnson went 5 for 54. Tyrone Tracy went 2 for 33. Darius Slayton went 2 for 8 on 6 targets. Jalen Hyatt went 2 for 8 on 2 targets. Wan'Dale Robinson went 2 for 6 on 2 targets. Drew Lock had a fumble and lost it. Eric Gray had a fumble. Matthew Adams recovered that fumble. Their defense gave them no sacks. Dexter Lawrence is out for the season, essentially. He dislocated his elbow. They're doing more tests today, but it seems like he's done. It's a long-term injury. This team just sucks. This team just sucks in every way, shape, or form. I love their defense, but they can't do nothing. They can't stop a fucking nosebleed. So, unfortunately, it is what it is. Cooper Rush did what he had to do, 21 of 36, 195, 1 touchdown, no picks, 48.1 QBR, 82.5 rating, nothing crazy. Rico Dowdle went 22 for 112. He's the one that really dominated the game as being the lead back and a touchdown. Ezekiel went 1 for 4. They ran the ball 32 times for 122 yards, 3.8 yards a carry. Passed the ball 36 times, a little bit more balance. Rico was just kind of doing what he did in college, just bouncing off of tackles, using that low center of gravity and running through tackles. Kavontae Turpin went 4 for 53 in the air, was the leading receiver on 5 targets. Jalen Tolbert went 2 for 41 on 4 targets. CeeDee Lamb went 2 for 39 on 6 targets. Schoonmaker went 5 for 33 on 6 targets. Brandon Cooks went 3 for 16 and a touchdown on 7 targets in his first game back from injury. Cooper Rush fumbled. Kavontae Turpin fumbled and recovered. Cooper Rush recovered, and Demarion Overshown batted the ball up, caught it, and ran it into the end zone off of Drew Lock in the second quarter, I believe. Their defense gave them 6 sacks. Eric Kendricks, first game back, he got a sack. Donovan Wilson got a sack on a blitz. Osa Odigizua got a sack. Micah got a sack and a half, and Mozzie Smith got half a sack, and Carl Lawson got a sack. Really dominated. Like I said, Demarion Overshown got the interception for 23 yards. He tapped it up and caught it to himself. That guy has been a difference maker this year. That rookie, that second year player, he was a rookie last year, got hurt. Yeah, it's what I expected. I didn't expect it to be this close, to be honest. But then again, it's a backup quarterback for Dallas that is trying to still figure out their offense. Their defense really came to play. Just a big point at the end, really. So 27-20. I thought it was going to be a little bit more than that, but Cowboys will win. Packers Dolphins, the Packers were going to win. It was like 1-2-3 off. We're 0-6 in below 3 games. So it did not surprise me when we were down 14-0 in the first quarter, and then it was 24-3 at halftime. We scored 8. The Dolphins did, so in the third quarter. So it was 27-12, and then it ended up 30-17, 14, and then it ended 30-17. We got close, but then they scored another touchdown at the end with Jaden Reed, and that basically it for us. 37, 46, 365, 2 touchdowns, 6 for Tua. They blitzed well. 529 on 61.7, 100.2 rating. Mostert ran the ball 5 times, 19 yards. Devon Chan, 7 for 14. We ran the ball 14 times the whole game. We passed the ball 46 times. As you can tell, no balance. We ran the ball for 39 yards in those 14 carries for a grand total of 20 yards carry. That is not done in the frozen tundra. John Smith was a leading receiver once again. 10 receptions, 110 yards on 11 targets. Tyreek Hill went for 83 and a touchdown, which was basically off of Jonnu Smith, and he caught it in the air off of Ricochet. That was in the fourth quarter. Devon Achane went 6 for 56 on 9 targets. Jalen Waddle went 4 for 53 on 4 targets. Devon Achane also had a touchdown catching off a screen. Raheem Mostert went 2 for 15 on 3 targets. Gingold went 2 for 15 on 2 targets. And Odell Beckham went 1 for 9 on 2 targets. Malik Washington fumbled and lost it. That was really bad. That was on a kickoff. Jonnu Smith, or on a punt. Jonnu Smith fumbled, but he recovered, I believe. We got no sacks from the defense. Actually, no pressure at all, to be honest. No interceptions. We just couldn't do nothing with that offensive line. The Packers did what they had to do. Jordan Love went 21 for 28. Very efficient. 274, 2 touchdowns, no picks. no sacks, 84.4 QBR, a 129.2 rating. Josh Jacobs went 19 for 43 and a touchdown. Chris Brooks went 3 for 28. Jaden Reed went 1 for 23. Emmanuel Wilson went 2 for 20. They ran the ball 25 times for 114 yards for 4.6 yards a pop and 28 passes. So pretty 25 to 28 pass to run ratio, pretty good. Tucker Kraft was the leading receiver at 6 for 78 on 7 targets. Josh Jacobs went 4 for 74 on 4 targets through the air. Christian Watson caught 2 for 67 on 4 targets. Dontavian Wicks went 4 for 30. On 5 targets, Jaden Reed went 3 for 24 and 2 touchdowns on 6 targets, and Chris Brooks went 2 for 1 on 2 targets. Robert Rochelle recovered a fumble. Their defense gave him 5 sacks. Quay Walker got a sack. Kingsley Enagbare got a sack. Lucas Van Ness got a sack. Brenton Cox Jr. got a sack, and Kenny Clark got a sack. They just dominated us up front. No picks, but I expected this. Now the Packers still maintain themselves there with Minnesota and the Lions for the top 3. You're talking about Lions number 1, Minnesota the 5 seed, and then the Packers are the 6 seed. So only the 7 seed is kind of up for grabs right now because of record, because they're doing so good. So the NFC North possibly going to have 3 playoff teams in the mix. As for Miami, with this loss, Buffalo Bills need the win on Sunday, and they lock down the division. Like I said, this division was over like 5 games ago, and now they're finally going to clinch it. Just very predictable. We couldn't do much. We couldn't throw the ball downfield. We couldn't run the ball. A lot of screens, a lot of slants, a lot of Jonnu Smith, not a lot of Tyreek, not a lot of Jalen Waddle. They really put the cap on the defense player cover 2 and a bunch of zone, just rallying and tackling, and we couldn't do much, basically, even though the numbers say otherwise. All right, for Sunday, we got Colts-Patriots. I got the Colts in that game. Let me actually write this down. Well, first of all, we have the Chiefs versus the Raiders today. I got the Chiefs. They're at home. Black Friday. I just think that they're just going to show out. Maybe Kelsey has a big game, possibly Xavier Worthy. Isaiah Pacheco, I believe, is playing today, so maybe they feed him a lot and showcase him, get him back running in the offense to get that offense really rolling again, getting such a big piece back for their last 2 championships. I think overall, I don't see the Raiders even getting close. I think that they're going to get dominated up front by that D-line with Chris Jones. Omenihu was coming back after the torn ACL last year. So, I just think that the Chiefs are just going to be the Chiefs and keep going, keep it rolling as the number 1 seed in the AFC. Steelers, Bengals in Cincinnati. Listen, man, I think Cincinnati can win this game, but at the same time, like, this Steelers defense is insane. So I'm gonna roll with the Steelers, although I really like this Cincy offense with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Chase Brown has been running the ball pretty well. And Joe Burrow's been playing at a high level, leading the league in passing yards. But that Steelers defense with TJ Watt, with you got too much. You just got too much inside. You have too much outside with Alex Highsmith and Herbig, and now Preston Smith. You got Joey Porter Jr., Minkah Fitzpatrick. I just think you got a little too much on the defensive side for the Bengals to sustain drives. As for the Steelers, it's probably going to be another close game. Defensive, probably take advantage of a turnover or 2, getting short fields. I don't know if they'll get into the end zone, but I think Trey Hendrickson has a possibility to get a couple sacks tomorrow, or not tomorrow, on Sunday. But I'm still going with the Steelers, probably on a Russell Wilson moonball to George Pickens or Mike Williams and win by 3 or something like that. Classic Steeler football. Chargers, Falcons, I'm going with the Chargers there, even though it's in Atlanta and the Falcons need to win because they have the Tampa Bay Bucks on their heels for the NFC South. But I think the Chargers want to come back from that loss to the Ravens at home on Monday night and really show that they're still in the wild card hunt and try to keep up as well with the Broncos. Because if they lose, then the Broncos are right there with them. So I'm going to go with the Chargers there and Justin Herbert. It's a 1 point spread for the Chargers on the road. No J.K. Dobbins, so they're going to have to figure out in the backfield. But other than that, I think the Chargers have enough on the defensive side of the ball with Joey Bosa, Derwin James Jr., Asante Samuel Jr., and everything they got on the defensive side of the ball, as well as I just think Herbert's better than Kirk Cousins at this point. Now, the two evening factors might be Bijan and Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Darnell. I don't know if he's going to play, but I still think the Chargers have a good enough defense and we'll figure it out on offense with Ladd McConkey. Quentin Johnston will have a better game, and Will Dissly, and possibly some Palmer in there, some Josh Palmer. And figure out a way to win this game. Then Seahawks, Jets. I got the Seahawks. I don't think the Jets are going anywhere, to be honest. They're not going anywhere, period. But I'm just saying, I think the Seahawks, knowing that they're number one in the NFC West right now, seeing that they have an opportunity to win the division for the first time in a long time since the Russell Wilson era, I think that they are going to come up, button up, and really try to put it on the Jets. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. If I look at both teams defensively and offensively, there's different arguments for each. On the defensive side, you have Jermaine Johnson and Quinnen Williams and Quincy Williams, as well as Will McDonald the fourth, and Sauce, DJ Reed. But on the other side, you also have Devon Witherspoon. You have Reek Woolen. They got the rookie from Texas that his name escapes me right now. And they have a pretty good O-line, D-line, and they can run the ball with KJ, with Walker. And I think Geno has been passing the ball well. They're going to hit DK maybe for a little bit. Jackson Smith and Jigba has been a problem for the last few weeks. So we'll see how they navigate Tyler, DK, and Jackson Smith and Jigba. But I'm going to go Seahawks here, although I can see the Jets winning just because, they like to play spoiler and they have Aaron Rodgers. So out of nowhere, I could see that happening, even though Aaron Rodgers might be benched. But we shall see. Then we have Texans-Jaguars. I'm going to go with the Texans here to basically lock up that AFC South. They played better last week. I expect a full showing this week from Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Joe Mixon. CJ Stroud, I expect him to get really back on track, throwing touchdowns and looking like himself again. Jaguars have Trevor Lawrence. He's going to come back, I believe. But I don't think they have a shot in this game, to be honest. Their defense is playing awful. With Nico Collins back, you have that number one option again. They really don't have a corner. Even Tyson Campbell can't cover him. So I think the Texans are going to win on the road and pretty much lock up that AFC South. Cardinals, Vikings. I'm going to go with the Vikings here. I think that the Vikings really want to stay in touch with the Lions. Cardinals coming off that tough loss last week to lose the number one seed in the NFC West. I think the Vikings at home is going to be too much. They're going to be amped up. They want to get to 10 wins, keep up with the Lions, knowing that the Lions already won on Thanksgiving. I could see a big game from JJ. I could see a big game from Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones, Sam Darnold to have a big game, TJ Hawkinson. I just think that they have a little bit too much. And then Brian Flores on the other side, I think that Brian Flores will have that defense playing really, really well. And I don't think the Cardinals just have enough unless, James Conner just starts running the ball all over the place and then giving Kyler time to find Marvin Harrison Jr. and McBride on those crossers and, deep outs and stuff like that. But I think the Vikings got this. Titans Commanders, I got the Commanders here. I think that they get back on track from the slide that they've been on. I think that Jaden Daniels gets back to his old self a little bit. I possibly has been hurt, nursing a shoulder the whole season. We don't know. But since he got hurt that one time, he just hasn't looked the same. He hasn't run the same. But I think that Terry McLaurin has a good game here. Titans have a sneaky good defense, especially against the run. But I think that this Commanders offense really wants to get back on track. Will Levis has been playing decently well with Westbrook Akine and Calvin Ridley, but I think that Commanders are going to come to play. Dan Quinn's going to have them buttoned up, and they really want to get this playoff spot in the NFC East. So they're the 7th seed right now, and they want to stay there. So I got Commanders here. Buccaneers Panthers. We're going with the Bucs, even though the Panthers have been playing well the last few weeks. I think that Baker smells blood in the water. He has Mike Evans back. Knowing that Atlanta has a tough matchup versus the Vikings against the Chargers. Knowing that if they lose and they win, then they're both 6-6, and it would lead down to a tiebreak at the end of the season. I think they have to play one more time. I'm not sure. But the Panthers been playing well. Bryce Young has been playing well. I would like to see Xavier Legette get a little bit more burn as Bryce Young's favorite target. But right now it's David Moore. But I think the Bucs, even on the road, I think that they got this. They're going to run the ball pretty well with Bucky Irvin, Sean Tucker, and Rashad White. Mike Evans is there. Sterling Shepard is kind of like a safety blanket. Cade Otton, of course, has been the safety blanket for Baker all season when everybody's been down. But I got the Bucs here, and Vita Vea is probably going to stop that running game. Well, let's see if we see Jonathan Brooks this game, but especially with no Jatavion Sanders as well. I think it's too much for the Panthers. Rams Saints. I'm gonna go with the Rams. I think that they feel the heat of possibly missing out on the playoffs with what happened last week. So I'm gonna go with the Rams on the road. I think Stafford is the better quarterback. They have Puka, they have Cooper, they have Williams. This defensive line, it can play really, really well. And, of course, the Saints are banged up at wide receiver all over the place. So I got the Rams in this one. Rams are 2.5-point favorites right now. All right, big game. To basically, if the Steelers lose and the Ravens win this game, it gets a little bit closer, a little bit tighter, because then one will be 9-4, the other one will be 8-4. So we have Eagles-Ravens at Baltimore, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is Saquon versus Derrick Henry. That is literally what this is going to be. Some people might say it's Jalen Hurts versus Lamar. Some people might say it's A.J. Brown versus Zay Flowers. No, I think this is definitely Saquon Barkley versus Derrick Henry fighting for not only the AP Offensive Player of the Year, but I also think possibly some MVP votes. I think Lamar could really cement himself as an MVP in this game if he has a great showing, over 300 yards, 70% completion percentage, 3 touchdowns, no picks. They win, and they show that they're dominant. Baltimore is a 3-point favorite right now because it's at home, so that's basically the hometown discount. I'm going to go with the Ravens. I believe that they are the more complete team is actually Eagles. So if you think about offensively and defensively, I think Devontae Smith, I think Smitty's playing. The Ravens have given up way too much in the passing game, but I think they're going to come buttoned up for this game. I like the Eagles, but I'm going with the Ravens just because Baltimore is at home. And of course, Lamar does not lose to the NFC competition in his career. He's only has one loss his whole career. I think he's like 20-1, 21-1. So I'm going to go with the Ravens in a hell of a game at 4:25 on CBS. And I expect it to be fireworks from both running backs. And I think whoever runs the ball better and whoever neutralizes the QB running game and play action game, as well as maximize on turnovers, will win this game. But I'm going to go with the Ravens at home to keep up with those Steelers to try to chase them down for the AFC North crown. 49ers Bills, I'm going with the Bills. This is going to be probably an ugly game considering Brock Purdy's coming back. They have CMC. They haven't used Debo at all. This is the Juwan Jennings kind of number one option right now. George Kittle. I don't know if Trent might be playing, but overall, I think the Bills are very, very well equipped for this game. They're at home. It's going to be cold. Buffalo's a 7-point favorite. 49ers really have no way of really stopping Josh Allen when the offense gets rolling. The only thing that they can hope for is that James Cook doesn't run the ball well, and they can focus more on the play action and on the passing game. I think Khalil Shakir will have a good game. Dalton Kincaid, if they can find him, will have a good game. Coleman might come back this week. I'm not really sure. Let me check the injury report here. If they're actually, let's see here. Chris Conley, let's see, for Buffalo. Keon Coleman is questionable, so he's coming back. Kincaid is out. And Matt Milano, of course, he's on IR. He's done. So Coleman's back, but no Kincaid. And then Chris Conley for the San Francisco 49ers is going to play. Brock Purdy's going to play. Renardo Green, the rookie cornerback, he's going to play. And Jacob Cowing, the rookie receiver, is going to play. Yeah, I think Dre Greenlaw might play as well. He's off a pup, slated to play as well. But I'm going to go with the Bills here at home in the cold. I just don't see any way 49ers can really keep up with this team once it gets rolling. And then Monday we have Broncos, Browns. I'm going with the Broncos. I believe that they have a hell of a defense in order to keep up with the Jerry Jeudy. Not the Jerry Jeudy. With the Jerry Jeudy and Nick Chubb. They have a good run defense. They have a good pass defense with Pat Surtain and Moss on the other side, as well as good safeties. So I'm going to go with the Broncos. They have to keep up in order to stay in the standings. Right now they are, if we go look at the playoffs, right now they are the 7th seed in the AFC. They have a little cushion over Indiana, but they don't over Indianapolis, the Colts. But they want if the Chargers were to lose to the Falcons and they win, they go to 8-5. They would go into the 6th seed. Baltimore wants to go to 9-4, while they're hoping Pittsburgh loses, so they're tied at the top of the AFC North. Buffalo's done. KC is basically almost wrapped it up, but they just need one more loss from the Chargers in order to wrap the division up, because then they can't catch up. But yeah, I got the Broncos. I think Bo Nix has been playing well. Sean Payton's gonna have them playing well. It's in Denver. It's going to be cold. Not that worries me about Cleveland at all, because they're a cold city. But I think it's going to be a Broncos heavy run. Myles Garrett might destroy the game, but I think, overall, Cortland Sutton, Vele, Troy Franklin, I think Bo Nix just finds a rhythm and the defense gets it done. So KC, KC are the number 1 seed. If they keep winning, they should be able to close it down even if Buffalo wins out. You have Pittsburgh at 3. You have Houston at 4, which need to win because not for their division necessarily. Because if you look at the divisions, you got Houston. Houston's 7-5, and Indianapolis is 5-7. So they're really not going to get touched, but they should build some confidence for the playoffs. KC is basically 3 games ahead of the Chargers, so maybe 2 more wins for KC and they lock down the number 1 seed. You have Philadelphia over Washington at 7-5. Philadelphia is the number 2 seed in the NFC as we speak. Detroit, Minnesota, and Green Bay 11-1, 9-2, and 9-3 respectively. They're all in the playoffs as we speak. Atlanta's at 6-5. If they lose, they go to 6-6. Tampa Bay goes to 6-6. And then you have a battle for that number one, that basically the 4 seed in the NFC and the NFC South crown. And then you have Seattle at 6-5. You have Arizona at 6-5, Rams at 5-6, and the San Francisco 49ers at 5-6. That's still up for grabs because people can lose, people can win. It's the most unpredictable division in football. But right now, Seattle is in the driver's seat as we speak. Right now, your top 7 in the AFC is KC, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Houston, Baltimore, Chargers, and Denver. Not really a competition to get to that 7th spot anymore. I think those are going to be your 7 teams that are going for sure. And in the NFC, it's a little bit more that can change in topsy-turvy, even though Detroit will stay at 1. Philadelphia, I'm pretty sure, will stay at 2. Seattle's at 3 right now, but that can change with a loss. Atlanta's at 4. That can change with a win or a loss. Minnesota's at 5 at 9-2. 6 is Green Bay at 9-3, and then Washington's at 7-5. But Arizona still has an outside shot at 6-5 to be able to maybe knock them off if Washington keeps slipping. People that might be able to be up there if they go on a little run these last 6 weeks would be, or 5 or 6 weeks would be the Rams, Tampa Bay, possibly San Francisco. I don't see Dallas doing anything. I think it's over for them. The Giants are already eliminated. Yeah. And then last but not least, let's talk a little bit about the NBA. Cleveland lost their second game yesterday to Atlanta. Boston's at 15-3, so that right now that's a 1.5 point cushion, a 1.5 game cushion. Then you have 4.5 games to Orlando, playing really well without Paolo. The Knicks have figured it out. They're 6.5 games back in the 4th spot. Milwaukee has figured it out, 9-9. They're 7-3. They've won 5 in a row. Dame is playing great. It's been without Giannis the last few games as well, but Dame is playing absolutely incredible. Brook Lopez is hitting his threes as well. Gary Trent Jr. has started to get into the flow of the offense. They're playing good defense, but they're 7.5 games out. Miami 6, they're 8-8, 7.5 games out. Tyler Herro's been playing well. Jimmy's been playing well. Bam's been playing well. The rotation's playing good defense. We just need to be able to score more. Right now, our point differential is 1.1, so not a lot. And our defense is pretty good, 109.3. Our offense is 110.4. So it's not that good, to be honest. Then you have Indiana in the 7th spot, 9-10, 8 games back, half a game back of Milwaukee and Miami, a game and a half back of New York for that 4th spot. So everything's starting to tighten up, at least from, I would say, the 4th to the, I want to say the 12th seed. Because Charlotte is at the 12th seed. They're 10.5 games back, but only a game and a half back or a game back of Chicago in the 10th spot. You have Brooklyn still at 8, still surviving there, tied with Indiana. You have Atlanta, 1 game back of 7 and 8th spot. Chicago still there surviving with Lonzo Ball coming back, I believe, today or yesterday. 8-12, 9.5 games back. Detroit's playing better than last year, 8-12 with those young kids. 9.5 games back, tied for the 10th spot. LaMelo's playing great. Some people are saying he's the best PG in basketball. I'm not willing to crown him that yet. I mean, he has them in the 12th spot, 6-12, 10.5 games back, only a game back of 10th. Toronto's at 5-14. Philly's a mess at 3-14, and then Washington's the worst team in basketball again at 2-15. Yeah, so it's getting tightened up. So from 4 to 12, you're going to see a lot of battling. Number 1 and number 2, maybe Orlando maybe can get up there, maybe when Paolo comes back. But I think Boston and Cleveland will be shuffling for that number 1 spot soon. Maybe Orlando and New York keep. Orlando could be battling for that 3, 4, 5, 6 seed, if they slip up or anything. But I think once they get Paolo, they'll get rolling. For the West is way tighter. OKC's number 1. You got Houston number 2 at 1 game back. Golden State is 2 games back. Memphis with no Ja yet, only played 1 game. They're 2.5 games back. They're playing great defense and great complementary basketball. The Lakers are getting led by AD, LeBron, and Dalton Connect. They're 11-7, 3 games back of number 1. Clippers, surprisingly, in the top 6 with just Harden, dropped 47-7 yesterday. 12-8, they're 3 games back as well. Denver's 3.5 games back in the 7th spot. Dallas recovered, they're 3.5 games back in the 8th spot. Phoenix has fallen a little bit, 4 games back. I mean, but this is so close, such half games, a game here, a game there. San Antonio's 10-9, 4.5 games back. You got Sac at 5.5 games back, 1 back of the 10th seed. Minnesota struggling a little bit, losing leads late in games after they're up 20. Don't like that. Need Minnesota to really start picking it up in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter when having leads at home, because they lost to Sac yesterday after coming back from being down 15 to 21 points, and they had the lead over 10, and then they got walked down at their own building. Portland's at 7-12, playing with the kids, Scoot, Shaden, and Anthony Simons, just figuring that out. Utah's at 4-14. Keontae George is starting to become a force little by little. And then New Orleans with their, DeJounte Murray came back. CJ's back. Trey Murphy's back, but they have to get Zion back. I don't think they're going to do that anytime soon. Possible trade coming for Zion. We never know because of his injury history at this point. I don't know if they want to move on from him and start over. But they're 4-15 and 10.5 games back. As for the stats, like I said, AD has been killing it. Giannis is still at 32.4 points a game. LaMelo's at 31.1, second in the league. Jokic at 29.7. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander getting back up to his standard at 29.5. Still needs to bump that up a little bit. AD's at 29.2. Assist 12.5 by Trae Young, so he bumped it up a little bit from last week. He was at 11.7. He just dropped a 22 dimer yesterday. Nikola Jokic at 10.6, LeBron at 9.3, Cade Cunningham at 8.9, Tyrese Halliburton at 8.8. Anthony Edwards is almost averaging 5 threes made a game. LaMelo's at 4.7. They're both at 4.7. 4.3 is Curry. Tyler Hero's at 4.1. Jason Tatum is at 4. Defensive leaders, you got Jokic in 13.1 rebounds, Sabonis at 12.8, Cat is at 12.7, Zubac's at 12.6, Jakob Poeltl's at 12, so a lot of rebounding in those top 5. Blocks is not even close. Victor's at 3.6. Brook Lopez is the next closest at 2.3. Then you got Donovan Clingan at 2.2, Miles Turner at 2.1, Anthony Davis at 1.9, and then Dyson Daniels also running away with the steals crown at 3.1 a game. J-Dub is at 2.2. Tari Eason's at 2. Jordan Poole's at 1.9. And Franz Wagner at 1.9. That's it for basketball. The last games of the NBA Cup qualifying is today. You have in Group A, Orlando is number 1, 2-0, as well as with the Knicks. They're 2-0. So they're probably going to be the ones coming out of the Eastern Group A. They're both 2-0. They need 2 more games, so they haven't played their third or fourth. Milwaukee's 3-0. Detroit is 2-0, and Miami's 1-2. Toronto's already eliminated. Indiana's not eliminated yet, but they're 0-2 as well. So I think Milwaukee's going to make it out of there. Chicago, surprisingly, is 2-1. And Cleveland's at 1-1. I thought Cleveland or Boston would win this group, but right now it's Chicago. Even though there's 3 tied at the top: Chicago, Atlanta, Boston, and then Cleveland 4th. Washington's already eliminated. Houston already clinched 3-0 in Group A of the Western Conference. The Clippers at 1-5. I mean, a 1-1. Portland's at 1-1. Minnesota at 1-2. That's surprising. Sac is at 0-2. Group B, Phoenix at 2-1, Lakers at 2-1, San Antonio at 2-1, and OKC 1-1. We'll see if that changes. Utah's eliminated. Golden State already clinched 3.30. Dallas is at 2-1. New Orleans already eliminated at 1-2. Denver's at 1-2, and Memphis is at 0-2. So we'll see what happens in the NBA Cup when all the stuff settles, and we'll see who gets through. Other than that, thank you for joining me in episode 156 of the Exec Talk Podcast. I am your host, El Velez. I love you guys. God bless. Happy Thanksgiving. And I leave you with the outro.
Que todos quieren ser el chamaquito que no puede